It was the summer of 2024, and our cozy little corner of Willow Creek, a sleepy suburb outside Seattle, felt like the perfect escape from the chaos of city life. I'm Tom, a 45-year-old single dad who traded a high-stress tech job for the quiet of tree-lined streets and friendly waves. My daughter, Sarah, a 28-year-old cybersecurity specialist with the Air Force, had just moved back home to take a break from her intense work at the base. She's always been a tech wizard, the kind of person who can make computers bend to her will in ways that seem like pure magic to me. We had a good thing going, grilling steaks on the deck, binge-watching sci-fi shows, and soaking in the calm of a neighborhood where everyone knew their place. That is, until Linda showed up and turned our peaceful world upside down. Linda wasn't just a new neighbor. She was a hurricane in a sundress. From the moment she rolled into the house next door in her gleaming silver SUV, she made it clear she wasn't here to blend in. She was 60, with a sharp bob haircut that probably cost more than my car payment, and she carried herself like she owned the entire block. Within days of moving in, she'd muscled her way into the homeowners association, showing up to her first meeting with a leather-bound notebook and a list of issues she'd already spotted. She'd measure flower beds with a tape measure, scold kids for riding bikes too fast, and even wrote up old Mr. Jenkins for his mailbox being a half-inch too tall. At first, I tried to give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she was just particular, I thought, waving politely as she scrutinized my front yard's edging. But then she started dropping comments that made my skin crawl. It started small. "I see Sarah's up late tinkering with her gadgets," Linda said one day, catching me by the mailbox. I brushed it off, figuring she'd heard something through the walls. Our houses were close, but not that close. Then it got weirder. "You guys must love those crime dramas on streaming," she'd say with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Or, "Ordering pizza again on Fridays, huh?" I'd laugh it off, but inside, my stomach churned. How did she know what shows we watched, or when we ordered takeout? Sarah's gaming setup was in her room at the back of the house, and she always wore headphones. Our TV was barely audible from the living room. The comments kept coming, each one more specific, like she was reading our lives from a script. When she casually asked, "Does Sarah always stay up past midnight on her laptop?" I felt a chill. Something was wrong, really wrong. The tipping point came at an HOA meeting when Linda started ranting about bandwidth hogs slowing down the neighborhood's internet. That didn't add up. Everyone in Willow Creek had their own internet service. There was no shared network. I mentioned it to Sarah over dinner, and her eyes narrowed, that sharp, calculating look she gets when she's onto something. "That's not how it works, Dad," she said, her voice low. "Unless someone's tapping into networks, they shouldn't be." Her words hung in the air, and suddenly, my unease wasn't just a feeling, it was a warning. Over the next few weeks, Linda's comments grew bolder, like she was taunting us. She'd mention the exact time I'd watched a movie or what app Sarah had been using. I started closing blinds during the day, double-checking locks, and feeling like a paranoid fool. But Sarah wasn't having it. One night, after Linda dropped another creepy remark about our pizza order, I snapped. "How does she know this stuff?" I asked. Sarah set her laptop down, her face deadly serious. "That's not neighborly nosiness, Dad. That's surveillance." Sarah went into full cybersecurity mode, the kind she uses when briefing her superiors about national threats. She explained that every device has a unique digital fingerprint, and when she checked our router logs, she found an intruder, an unknown device accessing our Wi-Fi daily for months. My heart sank as she showed me the logs, timestamps glowing on her screen like evidence of a crime we hadn't known was happening. Then she dropped the bombshell. She'd found spyware on my old phone, the one I kept on the kitchen counter. This wasn't some remote hack. Someone had physically installed it. My mind raced back to 6 months ago when Linda had come over, all smiles, asking to check our backyard for a leaky sprinkler. I'd let her in, offered her coffee, even let her use the bathroom. She was in our house for 20 minutes, and I'd thought nothing of it. Now I felt sick. While I was playing the good neighbor, she'd been planting a digital spy in my home. Sarah's voice was steel as she laid out the plan. "We're cutting her off tonight." She changed our Wi-Fi password, layering it with encryption so tight it might as well have been Fort Knox. She predicted Linda would lose it when her access vanished, and she wasn't wrong. The next morning, at 8 a.m. sharp, our doorbell rang like a machine gun. I peeked through the peephole to see Linda, her face a mask of fury, her usually perfect hair a mess. I opened the door, and she didn't even let me speak. "What did you do to my connection?" she screamed, her hands shaking. I played dumb, suggesting she call her ISP, but she wasn't having it. "Not my internet," she snapped. "The connection I use to monitor neighborhood safety." I nearly choked. Did she just admit to hacking our network? Her rage made her careless, and she kept going, ranting about how she had a right to monitor suspicious activity. She was unraveling, and I could see fear in her eyes, fear of being caught. That afternoon, a typed HOA violation notice arrived in our mailbox, signed by Linda as Community Safety Officer. She accused us of disrupting shared network resources and demanded we restore access or face a $250 fine. I couldn't believe it. Put her confession in writing. When Sarah read it, she laughed, a rare sound from her lately. "She just handed us a smoking gun," she said, pointing out that there were no shared networks in Willow Creek. Linda had documented her own crime. Sarah spent the next few days building a case like a detective in a thriller. Her laptop became a war room, screens filled with logs, charts, and data that mapped Linda's every move. She'd traced the intrusions to Linda's house, pinpointing her device with military precision. The spyware had recorded everything: our streaming habits, sleep schedules, even the apps we'd downloaded. Worse, Linda hadn't stopped at us. She'd breached at least 4 other neighbors' networks, including the Garcias down the street and the Wilsons across the way. She was running a one-woman surveillance empire, treating our neighborhood like her personal spy lab. The scope of it was chilling, and Sarah's evidence was airtight. The HOA meeting was set for a Friday night, and the tension in Willow Creek was palpable. Linda had spread her narrative, painting us as troublemakers who'd sabotaged the neighborhood's security. She walked into the community center like a queen, her tailored blazer screaming confidence, a folder of fake documents in hand. She launched into a speech about network threats and community safety, her voice dripping with fake concern. Neighbors nodded, buying her act until Sarah stood up. Sarah connected her laptop to the projector, her military credentials flashing on the screen. With calm precision, she dismantled Linda's lies, slide by slide. Logs showed Linda's device on our network daily. Data revealed her spyware, tracking our every move. A neighborhood map highlighted the other families she'd spied on. The room went silent, jaws dropping as the truth sank in. Linda tried to interrupt, her voice shrill, claiming it was all fabricated, but Sarah didn't flinch. She dropped the final bomb. While Linda was spying, Sarah had been tracking her. Logs of Linda's own internet activity, her apps, her schedule flashed on the screen. The hunter had become the hunted, and Linda's face went pale. The room exploded. Mrs. Garcia demanded to know what Linda knew about her kids' online activity. Mr. Wilson was livid about his family's vacation schedules being logged. Linda's denials crumbled as Sarah offered to let any expert verify the evidence. The HOA president's voice was grim. "This is beyond our jurisdiction. This is criminal." The vote to remove Linda from all HOA roles was unanimous, her self-appointed title of safety officer reduced to ash. The fallout was swift. 3 families, including ours, filed civil suits for invasion of privacy and computer trespass. Federal investigators got involved, citing computer fraud statutes. Linda's lawyer pushed for settlements, knowing a trial would be a disaster. The payouts were hefty enough for us to upgrade our home security and for Sarah to teach neighbors how to protect their networks. Linda's pristine SUV disappeared one morning, a for sale sign in her yard. She moved out under the weight of hostile stares, her once impeccable image shattered. Kids pointed at her house. Adults crossed the street to avoid her. Her kingdom was gone. As her moving truck pulled away, I felt relief but also a nagging unease. We'd won, but at what cost? Linda deserved every consequence. Her crimes were calculated, her betrayal personal. Yet watching her life unravel left a bitter taste. Had we gone too far? The neighborhood was peaceful again, kids playing freely, neighbors waving without fear of being watched. Sarah became a local hero, teaching everyone how to lock down their Wi-Fi. But the innocence of our quiet suburb was gone. We'd learned how vulnerable we were, how even a neighbor could hide a dangerous obsession. Looking back, I'm grateful for Sarah's skills. Linda underestimated us, thinking we'd never catch her. That was her mistake. But I can't shake the questions. Did we destroy her too completely? Was justice worth the cost of turning our community upside down? What would have happened if we'd stayed silent, letting her spy on us forever? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you ever had a neighbor cross a line like this? Was exposing them worth the chaos? Drop a comment. Hit that like button if this story gripped you. And subscribe for more tales that'll keep you up at night.